Well, with the sobering news of the unemployment rate hitting a new high in the Eurozone and also very high in the EU, one can understand why a lot of people are upset and frustrated at the limited progress that has been made. And as you correctly mentioned, you know, there are some things now that are cyclical normally in unemployment that are becoming structural, and you can see that in youth unemployment and the long-term unemployed. And those are very concerning areas of the unemployment as a whole, because they are much, much more difficult to resolve.
I was looking at some statistics from the UK as well. And, you know, the trend is clear, Jonas, isn't it? Yes, the UK, for example, may have created 500,000 new jobs, but many are part-time, many are temporary, and most are at lower wages. Now, economists would say that is necessary, perhaps, to get economic growth moving. That is what happens when you have a structurally led recession. Would you buy that?
Well, I think that to see any meaningful reduction in unemployment, we need growth. So this whole discussion around balancing austerity with stimulus and strategic investments in infrastructure is very much needed, because unemployment will not come down in any material way unless we see growth. There are, of course, the early stages of a recovery, and today's UK numbers on manufacturing were positive. So it isn't surprising that these are the kinds of jobs that you would see earlier in a recovery phase.
Southern Europe, and I mean, I know you also cover the Americas, but I think that we can put that to one side just because the state of play, or the parlous state of play in Southern Europe is so bad. Can you see in your work there any signs for hope at the moment?
Well, if you look at Southern Europe, you can actually see some positive signs, as positive as it can be, with an elevated unemployment rate in Portugal that did not rise. Unfortunately, Greece and Spain saw continued rise. France, of course, also saw a rise, but Italy stayed stable as well. So there are some countries where at least we can hope for some stabilization. But Greece and Spain are, of course, very, very hard hit overall, but also significantly hit on the youth unemployment side. I think it would be also important to remember that these are countries that started to implement structural labor market reforms after the recession hit.
Good point.
And as we think about the, as we think about the European unemployment picture, you're really talking about 2 or 3 different regions in themselves, with Northern Europe getting slightly worse, but still much, much better. And what we have to remember is all of those countries implemented structural labor market reforms before the recession.